This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hey everyone, it's Wednesday the 13th of July and we are back to support you with another episode of Party Loaded. My name's Luke Retallick. We've got three other party members here. As per usual, we have Ollie, we have Jam, we have Imogen. We'll do you all together tonight. How's everyone going?
Hi guys.
Hello.
Good.
Sorry, I'm dispensing with the pleasantries because we've got announcements
Because Luke's
to make.
not pleasant.
Yeah, sure. All right, well, I think we should address the 100-pound drowsy in the room. Everybody, you can relax. The nerds have won.
Aww.
Yep.
Taken over the world.
We've taken over the world. Anyone who is a muggle or normal person, now head back to your homes, report to your nearest processing center for re-enlightenment, because we're taken over. It's it. The battle's done. We won. All right.
Isn't it glorious?
Victory! Yeah.
It's
anyway.
not an us and them thing. There's blurred lines.
No,
this is just it's a safe coming out for that many people who have been fans of the Pokemons for many years.
Do you know why it's not an us and them thing? Because there is no more them.
That's true.
Wipe them out.
Dear.
Yeah, that's it. We've wiped them out. We've bred them out. Oh, God. Anyway, so lots of fun to be had tonight. We're going to be obviously talking about a whole lot of Pokemon-related stuff. Do you guys want to open with that, or do you want to open with... Imogen, you've just gotten back from a trip, so we decided to send you over to cover a big event over in Sydney.
Act as a roving reporter.
Yeah,
I did a rubbish job.
Nice. So, I mean, it was just convenient that you're able to do some work while you're over there at the same time, so, yeah.
Yeah. Paid for my trip and the whole lot.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So
Luke is a generous boss.
how's the other side of the country going at the moment? Anything cool
Yeah,
happen?
good. It was so what Luke's referring to, if you are not up on all of the Poke News, is there was a group of, they say roughly around 2,000 people who met up on Sunday in Sydney, which just happened to coincide with the work trip that I was taking. So I popped down in the morning. I wasn't able to go on the full walk, but I thought I'd go down and see if I couldn't say hello to #TampJam. But he was busy being the rock star that he is, and being the king of the nerds for the day. There was so many people not paying attention to where they were walking.
So we should probably clarify this and say that Jug Blomberg, who we obviously had on a couple of episodes ago, started off inviting a few of his friends on Facebook down to a bit of a walk and journey to catch us some Pokemon on Pokémon GO, and then before he knew it, half the city was there. So.
Yeah, I think there was 5,000 people had sort of registered interest, and I think probably throughout the day, looking at the photos and just sort of being in and around the Sydney CBD, there was definitely a fair proportion of those people wandering around, making the trip into the city, representing one of their three factions, and yeah, just sort of being really excited and having chats to one another and meeting other people. It was lovely and heartwarming and all of the wonderful things, and I was very sad I couldn't go along with them, but that's the photos that you'll see in the newspaper. I think Yug was on SBS and ABC, he was on The Project, he's been on pretty much everything at this stage.
Gizmodo, the Nerdist, everyone's done a news piece with him. He did at least 10 radio interviews over the last couple of days, so yeah, it's nuts. And they didn't even get his name right.
Oh, no, that was only SBS.
That was only SBS, yeah.
Gabby.
Hilarious.
But no, that was really good to be able to see that, and then for us to have somebody there whilst we were there, and it was all happening, and Pokemon GO taking over the world.
Yep. It's been nuts. I'm actually curious to get Ollie's take on this, because obviously you are the only one of the four of us that hasn't been playing the game. But given that you work in an environment where you see a lot of people who are the target audience, I'm actually curious to see what level of saturation you've witnessed from the outside of the circle this week. What's it sort of been like looking in?
people that have no nerd interests playing nerd games. It's silly. Like, people just downloaded it and gone, I don't know what I'm doing, but everyone else is doing it, so I'm going to join in.
I'm going for a walk.
Yeah, like, I've got my phone out and swiping upwards. That's what all the cool kids do now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It will be
it's a
interesting
bit
to see
silly.
what happens when school goes back in WA next week and school's going back in a lot of other states this week, how that will go down, whether there'll be people rushing out of classrooms to catch rare Pokemon or what the deal will be. But
Well, what's the normal rules with schools these days and phones? They're pretty much banned from classrooms, aren't they? I mean, are they required
would
to hand them in,
assume so,
or is
yeah.
they just not allowed to bring them in with them? Or is it something that sort of gets stated but is hard to enforce? I actually don't
Certainly
know.
no phones in the classroom sort of deal.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be the teachers more than anyone else.
Yeah.
teachers running out of class to catch Pokemon. That's a really good point. I had a couple of people say to me who are not sort of nerds, and they say, oh, what's this? And that's the thing. You guys have found the same thing. You've become sort of this beacon amongst your friends. Like, you play video games. Like, what's this Pokemon thing? Like, why is everybody playing it?
Giant
What are
fucking
all these?
nerd. What is this?
Don't you do things with the games on the onlines? And yeah, they're just interested to know like what's going on. And they say, oh, but it sounds like it's just a kid's game. Pokemon's a kid's game. But that's the reality of it. Pokemon is popular with adults because when we were growing up, that was the thing. It was Pokemon. So
Well, I was looking at the
people
dates.
are all sort of
I was looking at the dates today as part of our sort of prep for the for tonight's episode, and the original two video games like Red and Blue came out in 1998. Now I think back to that time, that was the year I became an adult. So it's not.
Wait,
I
what
was
does
not
that
an
mean?
adult.
Sorry. Well, on paper, not in actual terms.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
No, but I mean that's nearly 2 decades ago now. It is insane to think that it has been that long. I actually thought it was longer, to be honest. But no, that's just nuts. So everyone who got into them at that point are now sort of reliving their nostalgia, reliving their youth, and that's why you're seeing a lot of young adults to middle-aged people running around and enjoying it, as much as the kids are. Yeah.
It's incredible. My brother has been diligently battling at the gyms in my suburb, and he's made friends with complete strangers, and not 15 minutes ago left with these strangers to drive a few suburbs away to go hunt Pokemon.
Making
And
new
it's like,
friends.
see ya, if I get murdered, I'll be over there somewhere.
Yeah. Didn't he disappear out the other night? Like I was getting messages on my
Yes.
phone from him at 2:30 a.m. saying I just caught a whole bunch of
Yeah.
Pokemon at the Salters Point, which is sort of near this beach area, sort of up where you guys live. And I'm just like, you're out on the coast, walking through sand in the middle of.
No, I'm pretty sure they
freezing cold night.
parked. I'm pretty sure they parked. So, yeah, my brother, my sister, and one of our friends just
Yeah.
parked in a car, sat somewhere comfy, close to a couple of Pokestops for about 3 hours, I think.
Jesus.
Oh my
I
goodness.
just-
Late. I didn't even hear them come home. I was out of it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Like, I don't understand that.
Hilarious. And the shit going on in Kings Park. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hundreds
so
of people gathering at our major central park near the city every night because of what is it?
Dragonite. Rare
Dragonite.
spawning so every night for a period of nights at 10:30 in the evening, a rare Pokemon appeared, and for 2 nights in a row, it was a Dragonite. So that drew around about 400 to 500 people to Kings Park, and the videos coming out of it, there's all these people wandering around with battery packs. The sale of battery packs, just as a side note, must have gone up through the roof everywhere around the world. Should have bought shares in that, let alone Nintendo. And then it didn't appear last night, apparently. But there was actually a statement by the park authority saying, stay safe, make sure you throw rubbish away, all those types of things. It is it is our state war memorial, so please be respectful. Even if Dragonite spawns like over the eternal flame, like do not enter that area.
Yeah. Just
So-
throwing Pokeballs at the graves of soldiers long past. It's not really a cool thing to think about. That's yeah. You got to show
Everyone's having to jump on board very quickly. If you don't understand what it is, it's starting to sort of purvey your feed. I think when it was released, there was a couple friends I was talking to, and they were saying, what are you playing at the moment? And I'd say, they're like, oh no, I've not heard of that. I'm like, you just wait. It's coming. It'll start feeding in. One person will post something, another person will, and now there is just no way you could avoid it.
No.
It was on the front page of our newspaper today.
Yeah. I was out at a engagement party on the weekend for a couple of good friends of ours, and partway through the engagement party, my wife Lisa turns to me and she says, "All right, so tell me about this Pokemon thing." And I was just like, "Oh my god, what the fuck just
I
happened?"
can't believe you waited until you waited to tell her all about it. You didn't want to tell her as soon as she got
She
home.
doesn't give a crap about that kind of thing. She's not like us. No, look, she enjoys gaming, when she has the time. But that's the problem. She just never has the time. So the fact that she even showed an interest just caught me completely off guard. And then I spent, the next half hour basically trying to educate her as much as possible on it. And then the next day when she went to see the football, because she's a ticket holder for our local team, while she was, in the stadium
Pokemon
sort of
at the
waiting for
football.
stuff to happen, she was catching Pokemon. So,
No way.
No way.
There was
Awesome.
one.
Go, Lisa.
it's
Yeah.
hilarious. And what you just described before, Jamie, in regards to sort of people, what was it, Imogen? I've lost track now. I'm getting excited about the topic. About people sort of approaching you and sort of asking about the games at work. That has exactly been my experience, like over the last couple of days. People have approached me and said, "So, you're the guy that knows about this stuff. Tell me all about X." And I'm just like, oh my God. And there was 8 alone today before, early afternoon that approached me and were asking about it. My boss, who usually just hates gaming in general because she's got a couple of kids that spend far too much time in front of screens and that kind of thing. She comes in giddy as a schoolgirl, clutching her phone in her hand. And as soon as she walked in, I'm like, oh my God, I know what you're doing. It's hilarious.
I'm looking
Catching
forward to
Pokemon
going
for my
back to work.
kids.
Yeah. Oh, it's nuts. And we have an internal sort of intranet which has all of our business stuff for my day job, where they advertise, things that are going on inside the company. And there was actually an ad today for a blood drive. Like we have our annual blood drive to sort of, support the Red Cross and that kind of thing. And the kicker today is they were saying, come down, donate blood, catch Pokemon while you wait. I was just
Yeah,
like,
That's
what?
clever.
That's
Oh my
amazing.
God. Yeah. So this week has been one of the most insane weeks in this industry I think I've ever seen. It's I actually cannot think of anything that would match it. Can you guys even relate to any other craze that we've had in terms of gaming in the last couple of decades? I cannot think of a single one.
No.
So,
No.
No, definitely not. And for me, walking around, I mean, I've been in Sydney, so I've not been in Perth, but I'm going to assume it's the same here. But walking around Sydney and just sort of bumping into people. Oh, even I went to a big sort of food and wine show on Friday night before I flew out to Sydney, and was sitting there sort of explaining to someone like what the game was, and just turned like a centimetre to my left, and there was a couple next to me playing it. And he's like, what team are you on? Those types of things. It's not just a good, not necessarily a great game, but it's bringing people together. It's making people talk. People are stopping on the street saying, "Did you see this? Have you found this?" People are, asking weird things, like turning to strangers and saying, "Have you seen, the Bulbasaur around here? Like, do you know where it is?" kind of thing. And people don't look at you like a weirdo. They're like, "Yeah, it was over there."
Yep.
There's a weird
the best.
language popping up that, just didn't exist. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And I really can't talk about how much it's taking over because I'm playing it right now. I'm up to 8 Pokemon since we started recording.
Oh my God! All right, so we're going to do a scientific study tonight. So from the beginning of our recording tonight, you've got your app open and you're basically just capturing Pokemon that wander into your local area because you're in a fairly highly populated zone.
Correct.
So by the end of the episode, we want
Next
to
to
count.
2 gyms and 2 Pokestops,
Yeah.
which I can access from my apartment.
Nice. So you're not using
not
any
bad.
lures or anything like that at the moment. It's just
So I'm not, but there has been the occasional lure thrown down. There is currently a lure up, but that's being evened out by some rather sneaky Pidgeys who are running away from me. So,
nice. All right, we'll check in later. We'll get an update
yeah,
as the
I'm
episode
getting
progresses.
some good catches. So
Yeah.
if I get anything rare, I'll let you know.
Nice. All right. Well, we got plenty of Pokemon to talk about later in the episode. Should we talk about some other gaming? What else have we been doing?
We probably should.
Yeah. Ollie, let's throw it to you. What have you been playing?
I tried out a game called Assemblance.
Aha. Keen to
And-
hear your thoughts.
Yes, I liked it. I have air quotes finished it once.
Mm-hmm.
So I will
Wow.
definitely be going back and playing it through. Like, it didn't take me very long. Like, I should paraphrase that. This is not a game where you go, cool, I finished, done. This is a game where you go, I've missed lots, haven't I?
Yep.
time to go back.
Yeah,
It's essentially you going through a series of memory scenes. So you have like an interactive
it's that
memory
one, yeah.
scene that you can go through and you can get clues and hints about what's happened. So very cryptic, not always very self-explanatory, which I quite enjoyed. Like you had to figure out like, oh, occasionally the game does beat you over the head and go, do this stupid, and you're like, all right, sorry game. But yeah, more often than not, like it is very much just figure it out. I now can see how Luke was talking about like a secret in the game that took some guy like 3 hours to uncover. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or 30 hours. Like, yeah, no, I can see how that has occurred now.
So
It is.
since
It's
I,
getting depth.
since I spoke about it last week, I've gone back and played a bunch of it as well. Because I think when we talked last week, I was at the exact point that it sounds like you're at now, where you've sort of gotten an ending and it's left you totally unsatisfied. So,
Yeah, basically. It's like, yep, there's 3/4 of the information missing.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, like, I looked on Steam first because obviously you can see how many achievements are associated with the game on Steam. And for a semblance, there are 10. And at the point last week when I had sort of gotten one of the endings, I think I'd unlocked about 3 or 4 of the achievements.
Yeah, I think I'm about there as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So now I'm at 9, and I know what the 10th one is, and I know how freaking difficult it is because it's that one that I alluded to last week. But the thing I will say about this game is upon playing it a lot more, one thing I've realised is because there's actually very few sort of zones inside the game, and you will have experienced this now, Ollie, where you see, there's mostly sort of 4 key areas that you explore, and that's including the kind of comm center that you start in with the AI console. So the main sort of areas that you explore, there's only so many things in those areas that you could feasibly interact with. So I think if you want to apply like a problem-solving lens to the game, there is a finite number of interactions that you can sort of go through piece by piece and work out what you have to do. But some of the stuff that I've had to do to unlock the next part of progression in the game have not been as obvious as you'd think. Like you really do have to put your thinking cap on and manipulate things in your environment that you wouldn't expect to do in other games. So, there's actually layers of stuff in the game that aren't necessary to complete it, but are actually done from a theme perspective where you can actually do things outside of the game, and it actually gives you information about how to proceed inside the game. Now, I won't tell you what that is for anyone in case it's going to spoil it for you, but Ollie, as you continue playing, I'm sure you'll be able to suss out what a couple of those things are. So, yeah.
Probably.
Super interesting. Yeah. There's I've just achieved what is known in the game as the green shift. There's actually a blue shift, a green shift, and a white shift, I believe. And they're kind of just names that have been given by players of the game to sort of parts that are solved. And it actually does correspond to like a very faint palette change in some of the stuff that you look at. So you know when you've done it. But the stuff that you have to actually do to get that shift is ridiculously bonkers in the case of a couple of them. So, yeah. It's something to look forward to, Ollie. You'll get a real sense of achievement when you crack a couple of those. It's it's good to actually notice your progress. So, yeah.
I'll have to look.
I got to say, I'm getting a little frustrated the number of times that we've started to talk about a game on the show, and it's been such a tricky one to discuss for the risk of actually giving anything away that can sour the experience for people. It's really hard to talk about games like this. So.
Yeah, it is definitely a tricksy one.
Yeah.
Like that other one we've played recently, Luke?
Well, we could probably talk a little bit more about that. So you go.
Okay, so Inside came out, which I know Luke and I had on our wish list for a while. We've been looking forward to it. From the creators of Limbo.
It came out on consoles about a week ahead of when we grabbed it on Steam. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's amazing. It's just like
creepy?
Limbo. It's disturbing. You start the game and there's the title, and then the title fades, and this child drops down the side of this rock, and that's it. There's no help, there's no instruction, no indication what the keys will do or what your motive is. You just start moving. And oh my goodness, it's so well done. The atmosphere in the game. Oh, I got goosebumps.
It
Wow.
in terms of how little it describes about itself, it reminded me a lot of Journey in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how the game's quite good at sort of explaining itself as it progresses without making it obvious. But in terms of the control scheme, you could literally play this. You could play this game on a NES control pad. Like, there's not a lot to it. You've got control stick and 2 buttons, one to grab things and one to jump, and that's basically it. But it's cool.
But the way it just uses those little things and introduces these different mechanics for you to, I don't know, manipulate. Oh, it's so... I'm trying not to say too much.
Well, it's definitely a puzzle.
I want to ask about certain sections, but I cannot do it without spoiling.
It's definitely a puzzly game, so there's a lot of puzzles to sort of overcome in the game.
Yep. Because you're just driven to progress, basically. You know, keep moving forward. And it gets dark. The punishment for doing something wrong is, a bit gut-wrenching.
And see, I was so tempted because I've been so on the outside of wanting to play Limbo for so long, but this just doesn't... I don't know if my brain would
really
survive.
Good. It's just spooky and creepy.
I think the thing that would appeal to you the most, Imogen, would actually be the gameplay. I think that you'd really dig it. Ollie, the thing that I think would appeal to you would be the actual theme and the setting.
Oh, no, I was planning on playing it. I just picked up a semblance first.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. It's
All
enjoyable.
Right, maybe I might give it a go. What do you reckon, PC or console? In terms of if I'm sitting back and playing it, am I going to be...
I actually don't think it will matter. If you're going to play it on PC, I'd recommend a gamepad. I mean, you can play it on keyboard, but I think it's a comfortable one you can use a controller with, so you might be able to plug your Xbox controller in if you're going to play it on PC.
Would it be a good game to play with other? You know how sometimes you play games and you take turns sort of sharing the controller kind of deal. Would it be something that would be good for that?
You could,
I think it could be, yeah.
Then it would be less creepy.
And it just,
Well, in terms of the creepiness, without giving too much away, have you ever seen the movie, like the old anime movie Akira? Like, everyone's seen Akira, except for probably Imogen.
I don't think I have.
I haven't seen Akira.
Everyone's seen it, right?
No.
Only 2 have.
Okay.
Blank faces.
So the way I like to describe this game is it's like if Kojima had a love child with the second half of Akira.
Okay.
And I know what that means.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know what that means. And anyway.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I finished it in about half an hour, 3 hours. And I got about half of the collectibles.
Okay, so it's quite
available.
a short game as well.
It is. It's short and sweet, but...
it's unlikely that it would take you more than 3 hours, I think.
Okay, and it's called Inside.
Inside, yep.
Roughly how much?
There's a point where you see something and it looks to be connected to the collectibles, and I'm guessing it unlocks sort of an alternate ending or perhaps direction for the game, but I've only found about half of them.
Yeah,
so
you are correct. There is an alternate ending.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
How much was it on Steam?
Somewhere between 10 and 15. I can't remember the exact price.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for all that it's creepy, I didn't want to put it down. I finished it in one sitting because I didn't want to
I can
stop.
appreciate clever games, so if it's clever, I'm in.
Yeah. I think there's a lot without the link up to other people in the game world that Journey has. I think there's a lot of similarities between it and Journey in the way that the game plays.
I love Journey.
Yeah. So, but like for the price and for the amount of time that you spend playing it, which admittedly is not that much, I felt completely satisfied at the end of it. I thought I definitely got my money worth. Yeah.
It's kind of creepy. It just draws you in, and you are so involved and invested, and you want to do well, and you don't want to mess up, and you're trying to anticipate and be prepared for anything, so you're on the edge of your seat. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. It's a game that I think will sort of provoke a lot of conversation when you finish playing it. So
yes,
yeah.
We have to talk thoroughly.
Yeah, when the two of you have gotten through it, I'd love to have that conversation again. It would be really interesting.
Well, I will commit here in public, quote unquote. I will play the game.
All right.
And if I have nightmares, it's all your fault.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I will play it tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh, darn you and your holidays.
Yeah. Make the most of it. Yes. All right. Well, to kick it into a slightly lighter topic as far as gaming goes, Jam, how's the latest GTA Online expansion?
I'm going to say it very carefully. Cunning Stunts is so much fun.
I really wanted you to mess that up.
Holy crap. It's incredible. You know, all of the wacky races that we play, and how like choppily pasted together they are with glitches and things
Some of
speeding up
that
properly.
one
Some of those Grand Theft
signpost or
Auto
something.
online racing maps look like someone has just like gone all Dark Souls on the tracks and just made it as ridiculously hard as possible.
When you're trying to do
stunning.
like the curve and it's like da-dunk, da-dunk, da-dunk because you're going over the different shipping containers, it's annoying.
Yeah. They've just, oh my God, they've done so good. If there's anything they could have brought to this game that they should have, it's this. Everything is so smooth. The tracks wind around the entire city. You've got tubes and roads and jumps and spinning contraptions to obstruct and...
Oh, so these aren't actually placed in out-of-the-way areas. They're overlaid over the main city, are they?
Well, it's not in free roam. You load it up like a race. But it's through the city. I mean, it's all over the map. I played every single one of the Rockstar ones last night. There's about 16.
Wow.
And they're all fantastic. A lot of them are motorbikes. And my brother and I went first person for a bunch of them, and it's intense. It is so much fun because it's sickening, the stuff that you have to do. There's loop-de-loops. There's power-ups that'll give you a speed boost. There's actually sections of the track where you come to a really sharp, like a lip that dives back down. It actually grips your tires, slows you down so that you just suddenly have this huge deceleration as you rise and then roll over before you can speed up again downhill.
Ooh.
Like there's these little mechanics and there's sound effects and it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Did you see the screenshots?
Yes.
It's
Look
not
very
even the
colourful.
best.
Super bitter, I missed that.
I am
It looked
so
amazing. I was
thrilled. We have to get the
Super
whole
excited
group on.
to GTA again, yeah.
I want to play with 16 people. I mean, some of these tracks, they felt so empty with just 3 people. We were
That was going to
playing
be
it
my
going,
main
this
question.
is cool.
Yeah, my main question was going to be, do you think that it's limited if there's only sort of 6 of us or so, or are they meant to be like the wacky races?
Six would be great. They are like the wacky races, and the Rockstar made ones are fantastic. They can feel kind of empty because, once someone gets a pretty decent lead, the other 2 are too busy messing around to catch up. And we only played them as standard races too. You can play them as GTA races, which adds another element, which some of them would be fantastic for, especially with busy,
As
large
long as
numbers
you're not
of
playing
people.
with Luke and he gets fed up,
But what I'm most excited to see, I mean, there's things like soccer balls and bowling balls and pins to dodge as obstructions, targets that you can plop down, and we think we got bonus points for hitting the soccer ball towards a target at one point and for doing flips off a jump at one point.
Oh, cool.
The things people are going to make with these little
Style
mechanics
points and stuff,
are going to be phenomenal. The crowdsourced levels are just going to be insane. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I want to play right now. It's truly, we have to get on and play together.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto Online has had some significant legs for a game. I think, it's done really well. It's probably, in terms of the MMO space, I think it's, pretty comparable to some of the MMOs out there without actually being that kind of category of game. It's the one that people just want to keep coming back to and exploring more and developing their characters more. And, there's just a reason to keep jumping in and doing all those kinds of wacky races and heists and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
It's just
it's beautiful. Yeah. These tracks that look insane and crazy and are completely far-fetched are winding around this gorgeous map that is Los Santos, and it's breathtaking.
Yeah.
You start some races and you can see this vista in front of you of the entire cityscape and how these tubes and ramps are just going up and down in between the buildings, and you're like, you get the chills of, oh my God, this is just such an adventure. I love it.
I wonder if Rockstar will sort of paint themselves into a difficult corner at some point with the amount of content they're adding to Grand Theft Auto Online, preventing them from ever wanting to make another Grand Theft Auto. What do you think of that?
No, I don't think so.
No.
A new map, and don't forget, I'm not sure, have you played the single-player campaign?
Yeah, I finished it. Yep.
Yeah. How truly epic was that
That's
story.
true. Yeah.
Like,
that was
remarkable
amazing.
characters and so much fun.
I think that maybe it might
make
just
more.
be so GTA 6 comes out, single player campaign, and what it does for the online is something similar to World of Warcraft, where it sort of adds another location that maybe you can fly to or something like that, so you can still play both onlines.
Oh, if you could
and
play
they'll
both
be connected.
online, that would be epic. That would be
If your
so
character
good.
could transition, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be tricky, but that would be so good.
Yeah, I think that
but
would be a challenge.
That makes sense. Like, they're investing a lot of money into the online part of it. So if they continue making solid solo campaigns and just expand the online experience as part of that,
Yep.
brilliant.
Well, they've got a good model for it at least now, so we can expect to see something similar in future, given how successful it's been. It'd be silly for them to
And
not do it.
there's new vehicles, there's new weapons, there's extended mags for some existing weapons. It's like there's, all the other bonus content too that comes with
A whole
their
new
DLC, which
game.
some of the cars are so good. So good.
Nice. All right. Well, it's actually a fair bit of gaming. So we didn't even mention Overwatch, which we're all still playing as well, which is good. Congratulations to Ollie just getting a nice kill streak with Lucio before we started recording tonight. It was
Yep.
30 plus.
30-man kill streak.
Good work.
With a healer.
Man. Nice.
Yay.
I think we've settled into a slightly more comfortable place now where we're not getting our asses smashed as much playing competitive, which is nice. So, yeah, it's good. But we could probably start there with the gaming news of the week, if you like. So we've got a couple of Overwatch items. So,
Sure.
big news this morning. We had the release of the launch trailer for the new character, Anna. So,
Yay!
pretty sweet. So, Anna
Is it going to be Anna or Anna?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think it's Anna.
Because it's Farah.
Farah Anna. Yeah, I don't know.
I can tell you
Yeah, but
very
with-
shortly.
Because they
When
actually
Anna-
do mention
I
the
would
name in the trailer.
suggest
So
Anna?
you could say, you probably hedge your bets and say Anna.
You just merge the two.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Whilst Ollie's
Anna
looking that
with a slight accent that I can't replicate.
okay.
Anna.
Yeah, there's like a slight R in there before the
Exactly.
before the N.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so Anna is Farah's mum, of course, and the background behind her seems to be that she was a sniper member of the original Overwatch team, and she apparently had a encounter that went badly with Widowmaker and got a gun shot out, and it exploded in her face, and basically she lost one of her eyes. So. And she was thought dead for quite a while and has recently just come back into the fold. So there you go. There's it's a decent amount of background behind her before the character's even been released. And that's cool because one of the things that drives this game is, some of that history where the inter-character relationships actually do, mean something as far as how they all interact in game and some of the voice acting and lines that they drop and that sort of thing, which is cool. So, but she's super unique in the way that she works. I love the concept behind her. So
I'm horrified at how skilled you're going to have to be to use it properly, though.
Oh, look, I agree.
But it rewards those people who are. I think it will be a great challenge, and I think if you can find a player who can play her effectively, just watch out.
Yeah, it'll be nuts. Ollie, give
She
us
looks
the
on par
overview.
with-
What can she do?
All right, so she's got a sniper rifle, as is probably self-explanatory. It essentially has two things. If it hits baddies, it damages them. You'd hope so. But if it hits friendlies, it heals them, which is really quite nice. She has a grenade, which is like an AoE that she places down, or throws and it goes down, that heals friendlies. It also increases how much they're healing, so it actually buffs whatever healing they're getting at the moment. So if they're getting healed by a Mercy or a Lucio, it actually heals them even more on top of it. And then the AoE also stops baddies from healing in it, and I think it does a little bit of damage as well.
Suck it,
So a
Roadhog.
Roadhog, yeah, I think immediately the first one we say is Roadhog.
Yep.
So a Roadhog can't just sit there going, I heal through everything, I hate you all. She then also has a little ability which renders opponents asleep, like it knocks them out, but only for a certain time or until they take damage. So that looks very useful for shutting down ults, which would be cool.
I'm very curious
video
how
shows her shutting down High Noon, which was pretty cool.
I'm curious how the targeting works with that one, because if that is her ultimate ability,
It's not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay, right. Interesting. Yeah, that looks like a
Her
tricky
ultimate
one.
ability is she shoots one of her teammates and they get a buff for speed, damage, and damage resistance.
That is so cool.
So she Super Saiyans your teammate, like one teammate.
So
Should be very interesting.
if you want to rush the point, that's a good one to use.
Well, for me particularly, I'll be intrigued to see how it interacts with already self-buffing ultimates. So like Bastion's tank or Genji's Dragon Blade, anything which already buffs the wearer, like Winston's Rage. Like combine that with another buff, and that will be absolutely horrifying.
Oh, Monkey Rage plus that sounds scary as hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very intrigued. Like she looks like on par with Genji or Hanzo for like skill level required to be good with. So that's fine. But yes, I am very, very intrigued to see what she brings to the table. Which will be very cute.
So maybe if Anna drops her ultimate on Farah just before you rain justice from above, she may actually survive.
Oh, amazing.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Oh man, the number of times you use that just gets shot out of the sky is so frustrating.
Because you don't have
Such
a
a great
good Zarya
target,
player.
though.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's
He's
awesome.
currently on work holiday.
I mean, at the end of the day, Overwatch has not been out for that long, and we've already got the first new character with solid sort of information available. So I think that the timeline, I think, is good. They haven't waited too long to start adding things, which is really great. So
Yeah, the main thing I'm curious about now is who Sombra is. So Sombra was the other character that we've seen a lot, and there's info on maps, and we've seen screenshots but she was also apparently meant to be a support sniper. So I am very curious to see where Sombra went. That's maybe just a skin.
Well, I was going to say my theory is that I think some of the stuff that got leaked about the next potential character, people just sort of took the name Sombra because that was already one that was sort of doing the rounds and linked the two together, whereas they may actually be entirely different, and that's just been misinterpreted.
No, because the way with the whole Sombra character, so the info we got was we have a face shot of her from one of the maps. We then saw a targeting reticule which matches the face thing on a Blizzard playtest computer. We then saw a sniper with the skin, the Sombra skin, in the support section.
Right.
And so everyone was thinking that Sombra would be the support sniper.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I'm intrigued.
Well, the other one that's sort of in the conversation at the moment is Doomfist as well, which of course is the character that the actual gauntlet that features in the original Overwatch launch teaser belongs to. The one that the little boy takes out of the display case at the museum and smacks Widowmaker across the face with.
And on the Barney map, it's what you're delivering.
Exactly. So that's got to play in at some point, which will be interesting. But yeah, no, there's lots of little Easter eggs sort of still in the game to be mined for information like that. So it's good that there's a lot still happening in that space. We've also got a whole bunch of updates and changes coming for not only the next season of Overwatch competitive play, but also for general balance changes as well. Now, for the general balance changes, I know, Jamie, you're very excited about one of them. So
Diva!
What's happening to
That's
Diva?
my favorite. She's freaking fantastic. I think she's going to be a lot more maneuverable and better utilized. I can't wait. I thought when I jumped on tonight, I thought it had already gone live. I didn't read very carefully.
No.
Yeah.
She was
So I was
super
like,
happy and then super sad.
Oh, I still loved it. I still love playing her.
Well,
best.
Anna is live in the public test realm, but not in the main game yet. So, yeah.
But yes,
Looking
so
forward
the
to it.
changes that they're doing to Diva is they're tweaking her shield slightly. So takes a 1 second recharge versus 10 seconds, but it takes 10 seconds to get to the full charge, so it doesn't last as long. So it's a bit like Reinhardt's shield, where you can build it up to full, or you can just have it up as it slowly wears down.
Yeah.
Her explosion for her ultimate takes less time to get off, 3 seconds instead of 4, and
Doesn't
she
kill
can't
her.
get killed by it anymore, which is
That's
nice.
gonna be
Wow,
good.
that's a
That's
massive
the
change.
best, because so many times I've done sort of great takeouts with her and then not been able to run away far enough. So I'm really glad of that.
Yeah.
What else they tweaked? They're tweaking some of the ultimate costs for various characters, so such as Bastion and Soldier, because their self-heal will now count towards it. So they've upped the cost of it. Zenyatta's finally getting a buff. Thank fuck for that, poor guy. So he's getting a HP buff and a couple of other little tweaks
Some extra
in there,
shields
which would
as
be
well.
good. Yeah, that's the buff. He gets 50 extra shields,
Yep.
which is super good. Like, it's incredibly necessary. Then what else have they got? They got the competitive play changes, so they're getting rid of sudden death because it annoyed the crap out of people. What else was it? Oh yeah, the hero limit. So in competitive play now, there will be a 1 hero limit per team.
Yep.
Which I think is necessary. At the same time, I can see it causing a lot of arguments. Like, I wanted to play soldier. We can only have one soldier. Well, this guy picked it first. Now he won't swap.
I thought we were all soldiers now.
True.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but also you guys were saying in competitive play, you've got a lot of people who are communicating about what they want to play and those types of things.
yeah.
So maybe that will play into it.
One
But there'll still be a lot of mute,
Back
angry
chat.
people.
It'll be
Yeah,
janky.
true.
Like one of the things I can see being frustrating is even within a team that's communicating well. Say you've got two people that grab characters and then decide they want to swap. In order to actually successfully swap, because the game will probably stop someone from taking a character that someone else has got, you'll need to have one person who swaps to a third character first, and then the other one takes what they've got, and then the first one swaps back to the other one. So because they can't have the same character at any one moment, which will just be frustrating. It's just janky to get around. Yeah,
It will. But we'll see how it plays out.
It means I'll probably have to learn a third character. I've been just so steadily playing Soldier and Diva.
yeah,
The end.
Damn.
you'll be fine.
That's right. Don't feel bad. I've only got like 5, so I'm not much better.
Yeah. Well, about 80% of my play time is logged on Farah, so, I can play other characters, but I certainly need more
We're not
characters.
throwing any stones at all.
Yeah. We've all got our favourites. So, lots of cool stuff to look forward to there.
Go on, Luke. Talk about Hearthstone. Do it.
Can I really? Can I?
Just
All right.
this once.
So,
Have 1 minute, go.
Hearthstone news. I'll keep it brief. Hearthstone have, a couple of years after the game launch, which is interesting timing, now just announced a new friend referral program. So this isn't new for Blizzard games. They've done it before with World of Warcraft. They've done it, reasonably recently with Heroes of the Storm as well. The way it generally works is that you are given a code. You can give that to people to activate an account with whichever game it is, in this case Hearthstone, obviously. And if they activate the account with that code and they get to a certain point within the game, then you actually get rewards for having introduced them to the game. So with Hearthstone, the rewards start to kick in when the person you've actually introduced to the game hits level 20 within the game, which is, for Hearthstone, that's actually a fair goal. Like, it takes a while to get your characters to level 20. That's a bunch of games, actually, so you'll be playing for a little bit before that happens. But the reward is definitely worth it. So there's actually a unique hero portrait that you can unlock for the Shaman class, which is a Murloc Shaman.
Oh my goodness.
It's awesome. And because you've got all the emotes, like, I don't know what the emotes are going to be, but they must all just be gurgling sounds. It would be hilarious if that's the case. So, they've got like a threaten emote. They've got like a wow emote, which I'm assuming must sound something along the lines of and so
I
man.
will log back into Hearthstone for that. For
It's
sure.
going to be
I
hilarious.
like playing Shaman.
I'll just get Luke to show it. Some point.
Do that, yeah. But it's cool. So that's the first alternate hero portrait that Shamans had. There's a bunch of classes that still don't have one, so people are eagerly awaiting
That is
how
cool.
they get those. And the other things that you can get, like, once the person who's using the code has gotten their first character to level 20, I think once they get the second one there, then you get a free classic pack. Sorry. No, I've got that wrong. It's not for the same player. It's if you have multiple players that hit level 20. So the first player that hits level 20 unlocks the portrait for you. The second one that hits level 20, you get a free classic pack, and so on and so forth. Up to 5 players, you can get up to another 4 packs. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. But the thing that I think is weird is that, given the timing of the game and that it's been out for a whole bunch of time, like, looking at me as an example, all of the people that I'd consider introducing Hearthstone to are probably either already playing the game or have no intention of ever doing it because they're aware of what it is. So all that this is going to create is a situation where a bunch of people just go and create dummy accounts, like, and with these
Like
dummy,
Luke.
like me, Ollie, the stupid thing, I'm actually going to have a third account now.
Oh, no, you are not.
I am, because
No, you are not.
you can't have an account in a different region. It won't count it. It has to be the same region.
For that, you have a problem, Luke. Stop.
First Pokemon Go, now this.
I
When will
know.
it end?
Well, there's
Oh,
Gwent as well. Let's
goodness.
not forget. So, yeah. I don't know.
Pretty good.
I'll find a way around it.
pretty good segue, guys. I have just caught my 20th Pokemon since we started recording, and it was a Beedrill.
Ooh.
Which I have not come across. So,
Nice.
and was working towards evolving to one. So I'm really happy with that.
Yeah.
So good mons so far.
Is that the best one you've had so far?
The best one that I've had. No, I caught. Just
tonight.
had the game crash. There you go. There's real life Pokemon Go for you folks.
Yep.
Let me
It's
just
a tragedy.
bust back in. Yeah, no, I caught a 168 CP Krabby, which was pretty good, and a 413 Raticate.
Nice.
Whoa.
So not too bad.
Not bad for
And a
sitting on your bum.
Not bad at all for sitting and recording a podcast about gaming at the same time.
Yeah. Maybe that in itself acts like a lure.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
I love where I live.
Yeah. So we've got a brief bit of Pokemon Go news. I mean, we sort of talked about the game at the top of the show, but a couple of interesting things. Ollie sort of alluded to before. Nintendo have had a massive jump in their share price. So
Just a little.
Yeah, did you guys actually see the amount that it's jumped up? It's absolutely
Over
insane.
50%, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's like 56% at last count, which is just insane. Like, we're talking about $18 billion worth of share value. So, oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Thanks, Pokemon
remember,
Go.
remember all that when we were saying, Nintendo's not doing so well, and we're like, oh, it's fine, they'll be fine. You've got a big war chest. They're not going to need that war chest anymore, are they?
No, war chest just got bigger.
Well, the
The
ridiculous
war chest
thing
got
is that
huge.
Nintendo, while they sort of own the Pokemon license, they have not even created this game. It's been done in conjunction with the Pokemon Company, which is linked to Nintendo, but it is not Nintendo. It's a separate entity. And
It's
Niantic
Niantic,
Labs, yeah. But Niantic, because they're not actually a publicly listed company, they're private, so you can't actually buy shares in them. People have obviously gotten excited and done the next best thing, which is buying up on Nintendo stocks. So, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, people are also playing some of their other games. I have seen some people playing variations of the Go sort of franchise, as well as looking into things like Ingress and other stuff. So it's working out well for all involved, I think.
Yep. And because Ingress actually uses all of the same location data as Pokemon Go, you could theoretically play both of them at the same time. You're walking around to the same locations, which is kind of handy.
That would be a bit much.
There's been a bunch of interviews this week as well where Niantic have actually had John Hankey, who's kind of the head of or the creator of Pokemon Go, the CEO of the company. He's been talking about the future plans for the game. Now, I was pretty critical last week about some of the glaring omissions when it came to the game's features compared to our core Pokemon franchise games, but it looks like there's a pretty solid foundation that they're going to be building on and introducing some of those things as time goes on, which is really good to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They'd be foolish not to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's how you'd want to roll it out too. I mean, I'm sure they obviously would have expected to get the worldwide release out sooner. I can't believe Japan still don't have the game. But
That's a burn.
you release it, you give the whole world a couple of weeks to, get a month, to get a really good base set of Pokemon, build up their teams and level up their Pokemon before you start releasing the really big stuff, like the potential, ultra rare battles and that sort of thing. You don't want to release it all at once. And while I'm sure a lot of people would have expected the battling between players to have occurred sooner, I think it's fine. Everyone's building up their team. There's plenty of time for us to battle each other.
Yeah, I do think as well that the sort of release of it, although I don't know that you could ever have predicted for it to have worked out how it has, but I think that by releasing it this way, people getting involved, you're hooking in people who have no idea and have never played a Pokemon game before, and at the same time then slowly introducing them to like, hey, look, you can make friends by playing this game, it's all great, and then they'll introduce things like transfers or trade, and then battling, and so it's like a soft entry for people who may not know Pokemon, and then we'll catch more people as it goes on.
Yep. I definitely appreciate the strategy now, sort of in hindsight. I think they definitely made the smart moves there. Yeah.
Well, you said last week, hopefully it's coming down the pipe, those types of things. And,
Yeah.
and I think they would be remiss of them to not include things like trading and battling between players in a game that is Pokemon.
Yep. Well, in fact, the 4 key things that they revealed during these interviews that are definitely coming sooner rather than later, if all works out, is trading. So trading was always a logical extension of the themes of the game, which they had always planned to bring in. So they're going to definitely be bringing that in at some point. How it actually works, of course, will remain to be seen. But trading is definitely on the plan, which is great to hear.
If they can bring it in before PAX, that will be immense.
Hope so. The other thing to remember is that the game's only got 150 Pokemon in it at the moment, or it's supposed to. I don't know if the Pokedex in the game actually goes up that high just yet, but apparently the original 150 are in there. And down the track, the core Pokemon games now have 721 Pokemon all up, and that's not even counting the stuff yet to come in Sun and Moon later in the year. So yeah. That's one of the logical things they can add down the track. They could just add more of the Pokemon from the different generation titles, which is cool. The other new features that they've...
5 generations?
Yeah, 6 I think we're up to is the next one. They've also said that they are planning a global leaderboard system that ranks the world's best Pokemon Go players.
Of course they are.
Yep.
Because competition is a thing.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I mean, people are already getting pretty competitive with it, so having a leaderboard...
Say goodbye to your brother, Jamie. Say goodbye now.
I wonder if
already lost him.
I wonder if they'll be able to do it on an area-by-area basis and show which teams are in control. That would be kind of cool. So
yeah, that's all I want to see. I want to see how Team Mystic is doing. Team Mystic represent. I am so glad, calling it now, I chose the best team.
Yes. You did. So Imogen chose the team for all of us essentially, we're all Team Mystic.
I was the first to level 5 in our group, and so I went, okay guys, I've got to choose a colour. What colour are we going? And I didn't hear back from anyone. I'm like, I'm choosing blue because it's the closest to my favourite colour. So, it could have easily been red as well. So, pretty close. But, yeah, we're doing all right.
No, worked out well. I like it. And the other thing that John Hankey also said was that Pokemon Go might be coming to dedicated AR devices in future. So, obviously, one of the big ones is Microsoft's HoloLens.
God. The HoloLens. If it comes to the HoloLens, goodbye universe. There is.
But how would that work?
You'd just be walking around your house.
Big ass clunky. But my house has no Pokemon near it.
Yeah, just remember the HoloLens is not a wired device; it's wireless.
Yeah, so I'm gonna shove that on my head and walk around in public.
No,
so you're gonna wander around your house.
HoloLens is almost going to be like a smaller, refined version of Google Glass. That's the idea behind it.
Well, keep in mind as well that by the time that happens, we might have a situation where local battling is a thing. So it wouldn't be so much for when you're walking out and exploring and capturing Pokemon. It might be for when you're actually in your house trying to battle against someone.
You could stand in your lounge room and do a Pokemon fight. Oh my god!
I can put my HoloLens on and say, "Hey everybody!" and suddenly all my Pokemon are standing around me, waving and asking for food.
Yeah. Please don't put us back in the bowl.
It's so small in there and dark.
I can't breathe.
No, I just had this amazing picture in my head. So you've got 400 people in Kings Park at night, kind of thing. Everyone sort of gathers around. They clear a circle in the middle, and 2 people enter and sort of take on each other in a Poke battle. Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be pretty
epic. So nerdy.
Yeah.
I just nerded out, guys. I went to a weird place.
You did. It was horrifying to behold.
Oh man. Could you imagine that sort of thing happening in a giant arena with an actual stadium level crowd surrounding them? Yeah.
Wow.
It could happen.
Luke, it's entirely... It could happen right now.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. I've just got really excited.
Well, esports is a thing, and Pokemon is extremely popular. Look, I would not be surprised if this happens.
Escape. That's how excited I was. My Pidgey got away.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Yeah, lots of cool stuff to look forward to. So that was really awesome news. The only other one thing that we sort of pulled out for gaming news of the week was just a very quick update on the status of the Oculus Rift. It looks like Oculus have now completed fulfilling all of the original pre-orders. Supply has caught up with demand, and new orders are open, so the general populace can now order Rifts again and actually have a chance of getting them sometime soon.
Hey, let's stop shitting their pants.
Mm-hmm. which is cool. So, yeah.
Just in time for everyone to be on their phones.
Yeah.
We released this cool VR thing that no one's going to use. God damn it.
Yeah, it's called
Damn
first to
you,
market for a reason.
Nintendo.
It's not first to sort of market.
It's true. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We thought tonight might be a really good opportunity to take a brief pause from talking about Pokemon Go and talk about Pokemon.
To be fair, it's something we should have talked about already, but it is very relevant now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Ollie, do you want to lead us in? What are we going to actually cover tonight?
All right, so we're going to do a basic overview of Pokemon. We're going to look at the franchise. We're going to look at some of the games, and the actual core game mechanics, and that's about it, really.
Cool. Have a bit of a chat.
Yeah.
Small summary, big topic.
Yes.
It's Pokemon been around for quite a while, and there's a lot of different Pokemon games, but we can talk about some pretty common themes amongst a lot of them. So, and it'll be an interesting basis of comparison for anyone who listens to our show who's recently picked up Pokemon Go and wants to know exactly what the main franchise is all about and how it actually differs from what you're probably playing with on your phones right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say that Pokemon Go is the first Pokemon game I've ever played. So I'm ready to learn, and I'm excited for the new Sun and Moon now.
Well, let's do the basic overview, shall we? So, Pokemon. They are tiny little monsters with various elemental or energy themes that people can capture, and they find them in the wild and whatnot. And you train them up, and then you make them fight. It's like a really cute version of Rooster or dog fighting.
Yeah.
But with cute, adorable anime monsters.
And that made me feel not like playing anymore.
The grim reality of Pokemon.
The grim reality.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, it's obviously it's a amalgamation of Pocket and Monster. It actually the game did have a original Japanese game before it was sort of rebranded and brought over to America for the Western release. But yeah, that's pretty much where the name comes from. And it actually started out as a video game and then later sort of expanded into a whole bunch of other stuff, including comics, anime, video games, trading card game. Yep, movie. Yep.
6 seasons in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Pokemon for me has always ever been like a cartoon I watched as a kid. It's never been a computer game. It's been adorable cartoon and movie. I went to see the movie on the day it was released. I am not ashamed.
The movie was not adorable.
The shiny
That movie had
card.
dark bits.
It was very dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a absolutely gigantic franchise. I think it's hilarious that Japan are one of the last people to get the game. It is criminal almost. And maybe it won't be so popular there because more people have played the actual game. So they'll have that same experience as Luke where they'd rather play the full game than they would.
Well, I mean, I actually didn't get into Pokemon when the very first games came out. I was a little late to the party because we mentioned earlier that the first games came out in 1998 on Game Boy originally. So
Game Boy!
Yeah.
Red and blue for life.
I owned an original Game Boy, but I never played Pokemon until the
monster. Days
of the DS, actually. So
call yourself a Poker fan.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of mine was sort of retroactive. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the original creator of the games, a guy by the name of Satoshi Tajiri, he originally sort of created the games around the whole idea of his hobby of insect collecting. He enjoyed that. He enjoyed that as a kid, and he actually sort of adapted that idea into an actual game idea and worked on it for many, many years until it was finally launched. And it was kind of just a bit of a perfect storm situation where the collectible nature of the creatures in the game and the role-playing element of the story inside the game and everything else like that, became a really, really big thing. So, So, Pokemon franchise in general, in terms of, why it's been so popular and how big the scene is globally and that kind of thing. I mean, we're nearly 20 years in now and it's not really dropped.
It's definitely not slowed down.
No.
It's done the opposite.
No, not at all.
Long time now.
It's one of those things, I think it is a really good game for the DS. It's always been a game that I've considered from the outside, like not having played the console versions of the game and obviously not owning a newer version of the DS. It would be probably one of the only reasons I would pick up the DS, especially now that I've had this sort of introduction entry drug of Pokemon
Into
Go.
drunction.
entry gateway drug.
Yeah.
Of Pokemon Go. But it was the sort of a big draw card for the DS, I think. And so I think it had a big resurgence then. And I think, majority of DS owners would own that game, surely.
It was a few of them.
At a minimum?
Yeah, it's a pretty good bet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of them. I have played one. And I played it for 8 hours and got a shiny and then stopped playing.
Jesus.
Terrible.
Oh no. Yeah, no, it's I think that the trading card game is worth mentioning too, because that's actually probably one of the most popular aspects of the global sort of Pokemon scene too. Like everyone who's into trading card games will probably be familiar with Magic the Gathering, which is pretty much king of the hill as far as the most popular trading card game in the world goes. Pokemon is probably right up there, a close second or third. I'd have to check the exact figures on there, but yeah, it is massive. And the card game sort of, captures a lot of the themes of the anime and the video games as well, in terms of how the mechanics work and the evolution of the card sets and the different sort of series of, Pokemon that they've actually brought into the games. So, yeah, pretty massive. They
are running out of ideas for those Pokemon, though. We had discussed this previously. There is one Pokemon that is literally just a pile of trash. And one that is the letter O. It is getting a bit silly at this point.
Oh, there's actually one that does the entire alphabet. Believe it or not, there's
Really?
26 different versions of one of them that are in different shapes of the entire alphabet. Yep. So
that's cheating.
Yeah. No, it's funny. So I was actually just trying to hunt up some numbers for last year's World Championships, because there is actually like an annual sort of Pokemon video games and card game World Championships that's held at different locations around the world. There's a whole bunch of different qualifying events in different countries for it. We have like our own regionals over here. There's actually, Perth qualifying heats and finals, and there's a pretty big one at PAX Australia every year as well. And I have actually sort of had a little bit to do with the competitive Pokemon video game scene, not as a player, but sort of just as a voyeur with a passing interest. I've kind of done a bit of looking into it and researched and seen how competitive it is.
That.
Yeah, it's
learning
nuts.
new things.
It's really nuts. Oh man, the high level play of these games is insane. And when we get into some of the mechanics of how the games work, people will understand why that is, because there is a lot to it. Yeah, certainly a hell of a lot more complex than what you'll see in Pokemon Go, but. There's a lot of different games that you can kind of look at over the course of the last couple of decades, though. I mean, you've got... the ones that people know best are the core generational games. So they're the ones where, there's very similar mechanics throughout all of them. You're generally sort of, wandering around catching Pokemon, battling with them, that sort of thing. But you've also got ones like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, which is one where you actually play the role of the Pokemon yourself, and you're going and sort of navigating, doing a bit of a dungeon bash. You've got Pokken Tournament, which is a game that's entirely themed around just the battling aspect of the games. And of course, you've got Pokemon popping up in a range of other different games too, like they rock up in Super Smash Brothers. Mewtwo was one of the most recent additions to that. And there's a laundry list of other titles that are sort of...
Do you guys remember Pokemon Snap?
Yes.
64?
Yes,
How fucking
Pokemon
awful that
Snap.
was.
Oh, I remember when that game came out. It's the same. You had the Monster Hunters type of games, and the idea behind it, like you just go and take photographs or whatever else. But yeah, Pokemon Snap.
You
That
guys
came
ever
out
seen...
around about the same time as the movie, though.
Have you ever seen
Didn't it?
Pokemon Picross?
I think no.
No?
What's Pokemon
No.
Picross?
There's also Pokemon Shuffle. There's different Pokemon Rumble games. There's Pokemon Ranger as well. There's a whole bunch of different ones.
What are these games?
There's heaps. I mean, it's
He's
all
saying
franchise.
words and I don't understand them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
no.
Pokemon Snap was just, you take photos of things. Was it not?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that was it. No capturing. It was a humane Pokemon game.
Yeah, as I say, very humane Pokemon.
Yeah. So, Ollie, you mentioned before sort of that we're up around Generation 6. I can confirm that when Pokemon Sun and Moon come out in November later this year, that will in fact be the first entry into Generation 7.
Jesus.
Does it say when in November that comes out?
The 16th.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. Yeah.
After PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, it'll be just after PAX, which is kind
My
of
heart
nuts.
beats.
So, yeah.
Ollie just doesn't want to attend the con with us all staring at DSs and our phones.
I'll be like, hey guys, check this cool thing. I like can't capturing stuff.
It's just
Sorry.
a bunch of PAX is just going to be a bunch of people bumping into each other if we're all
Like,
playing Pokemon Go
goddamn.
at this point.
Can you imagine the tabletop section, hundreds of people at tables, and suddenly this like wave stands up and floods out the door, and then floods back in, and it's like, what the hell?
It'll
Oh yeah, I
just
fully
be
expect someone to be like,
mania.
"There's a Mew outside," and everyone
Yep.
just bolts.
Yeah.
Oh
well-
my goodness.
I'll finish this game off myself then, I guess.
If they can sponsor events with rare Pokemon and stuff, oh, it's gonna happen.
I will be amazed if they don't.
Yeah.
I will be
it's
amazed
exciting.
if they don't.
But will you be playing it by then?
No. I had my Pokemon time. I played
Maybe
red,
Ollie
I played
could
blue,
be-
I played yellow,
Yeah.
and I played the card game.
We
Get
can
Ollie to be
fruit.
he could be like a guide dog for us though. You know, you put your sort of hand on Ollie's shoulder and he
You're
walks
about to
through
step into the river.
and you just
Yeah,
you
I
just
just-
concentrate on what's
I just
happening.
carry a rope around, and you're all tied to it, and I'll just lead everyone.
I love it. I love it. Let's do
so we
this.
don't bump into stuff, we don't walk into traffic.
We need an adult. We need
I'll,
an
I'll have
adult.
a bell that I'll ring to make you guys look up for food every now and then.
We've gone to the bathroom.
We're at the
about to
bathroom,
pass
guys.
one.
Bathroom stop. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Actually, you know,
Yeah.
one thing they do at a lot of other sort of big conventions and events that have a Pokemon presence, they actually get people to cosplay different gym leaders, and they actually position themselves at different areas around the halls of these different events, and they actually get their own custom badges done up, and you can, as a player of the video game, go around and challenge each of those gym leaders, and if you beat them, you actually get their badge. So
Oh, that's amazing. We could do it for pins.
pretty much, it is like the penny arcade sort of thing, and the whole idea is you basically want to try and beat all of the basic gym leaders and then challenge the Elite Four and the actual champion that happens to be at the event. So they've actually got like a group that collaborates before the event and organises all of the different roles and where they're going to be and that sort of thing. It's
Wow.
fully organised, like it's nuts. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, super cool, super cool. So, very quick whiz through the list of the core generational games. In Generation 1, we've got Red, Blue, and Yellow, which Ollie already mentioned, so they're the ones on the original Game Boy. We've got Generation 2 consists of Gold and Silver, as well as Pokemon Crystal. Generation 3 is Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, and Leaf Green, and Emerald. Generation 4, we've got Diamond and Pearl. That's actually when I jumped in. And Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Generation 5
that
was
sounds
Black and
lovely.
White, Black and White 2. Generation 6, which is the one we're currently in, we had X and Y, which are fantastic games. Really enjoyed those two. And the ones that are the most recent, which are Alpha, Sapphire, and Omega Ruby. And then we've got Sun and Moon coming later in the year. Now, I might have forgotten one or two, but that's generally all of the ones that are out now. So, and they've sort of existed as times has gone on over different iterations of the console. So we had Game Boy, then we had Game Boy Advance, then we had the original Nintendo DS, then the 3DS, and I'm not sure if Sun and Moon are going to be the new 3DS. I think they might just be the standard 3DS because that ensures the bulk compatibility because not everybody's updated to the new 3DS, which a few
But wouldn't they
games-
want to force people to go to the new one?
Well, it's a weird one. Like the
this
situation
stage?
with the new 3DS is that there's really not a lot of difference between the 3DS and the new 3DS. It's like literally like a tiny little thumbstick, which is not even used for the majority of games, up in the top sort of right area of the console. And they haven't marketed it as a totally new console. It's kind of like, you know how we have that weirdness when new iterations of an iPhone come out? Like Apple stopped assigning numbers to them most of the time now. Especially on the units themselves, like it's hard to distinguish between them unless you know what you're looking for. So the same sort of thing exists, and it should be able to run all the same software and that kind of thing. But there are a few exceptions, like the original Generation 1 Pokemon games are actually available on the Nintendo eShop as digital downloads now, but you can only play them on the new 3DS, not the standard 3DS. So, which is
So
a bit
if
annoying.
I was investing in a DS at this stage, it would be compatible for the new 3DS, obviously, as well, though.
Correct, yeah. You would probably want to get that one. I think that may, in fact, be the only one that they're selling now, so you're probably going to get that anyway. So, yeah, it's a weird situation. I find it a bit annoying, frankly. But
Is there any major difference between, the games from their inception, so long ago and now? Or is basically the mechanics of the game stayed the same and they just add Pokemon and sort of
Pokemon and
areas.
items, basically, yeah.
Great question. The answer is there are a lot of similarities, but there are a few differences. So do you want to do an overview of all the core games and talk about some of the mechanics? That's probably what the bulk of our conversation should drive around tonight, because that's what people will want to know about. So who besides me has actually played any of the main sort of core Pokemon games from beginning to end? Anyone else? Besides,
I played Red, Blue, Yellow.
Red, Blue, Yellow. So you'll probably know the basics from back then, some of the real core stuff. Jamie, you've played about 8 hours, that's it? And Imogen, you're new. All right. I'm going to do a lot of talking.
I can talk.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ollie, do you want to give me the overview from your memory? What's the core stuff that makes up a Pokemon game?
You can collect the Pokemons. So you go around and seeing if you can actually collect them all.
Yep.
So that's the first one. You can train them up and do cool things. I know you can now breed and trade them as well. In the core ones you can't. So you can make new Pokemons, level them up, evolve them into new types of Pokemon, that sort of thing. So there's a progression element in that regards. You can battle. So you can battle wild Pokemon to capture them. You can battle other trainers, and that's both AI ones and now obviously people. And then you can also battle gym leaders as well. And that will get you various unlocks or whatever as well. Then I think there's other little bits and pieces around, like just little miscellaneous bits, and that's everything. So it's basically collecting, battling, and training would be I'd say the core 3 things.
Yeah. And that's stayed pretty consistent.
Yeah. In terms of collecting, does it use like the GPS-based collecting that Pokemon Go does, or are you directing someone through a world on the DS and that's how you collect Pokemon?
Directing someone through the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so every one of the Pokemon games is essentially a role-playing game as well. So you're actually navigating through a story as you play and exploring different areas
There's
of
a story?
the map. Yeah, there's absolutely a story.
Besides be the very best.
Well, the story varies from title to title, but the usual core elements of the story is because you want to be the best and you want to catch them all and that sort of thing, you generally start out trying to battle the local gyms in whatever region you're in. So there's pretty much always 8 gyms, and you need to actually beat all 8 of the gyms and acquire their gym badges to be able to enter the Pokemon League, which is kind of like the competitive arena that all of the games feature. When you enter the Pokemon League, you have to basically battle through a league area which has a whole bunch of sort of high-level NPC trainers and reach wherever the Elite Four are located. And the Elite Four are basically 4 of the top Pokemon trainers of that region. And then once you manage to beat them, you have to take on the league champion. And if you beat them, you basically become the league champion yourself. And that's usually the end of the game. But in amongst all of that, pretty much every single one of the core Pokemon games has some sort of subplot involving an organization or a team of bad guys.
A rival as well, usually?
Yeah, rival as well. Yeah, that's a pretty common feature. So the rival sometimes is your friend who you actually just sort of have a friendly rivalry with, and you're just sort of battling them with them, both trying to get as good as you can sort of at the same time. Sometimes they help you in the story, sometimes they don't. Or occasionally they are literally like your arch nemesis and you're basically trying to avoid them.
Yeah, I remember the first games, he was a dick.
Yeah. In the first games, the guy who's your rival is actually the same one as Ash's rival in the cartoon series. His name's Gary.
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
Gary, man.
Yeah, he's the guy that pops
Hate
up
that
all
guy.
the time. And as far as the baddie team or organisation goes, everyone who's seen the cartoons will remember Team Rocket. So
Team Rocket.
yeah,
Blast off
Okay,
again.
so I asked my brother if he thought there was a secret way to join Team Rocket in Pokemon Go so that you could go around and sabotage everything. If there is, someone please message me because I want to be that bitch so bad. That would be so much fun.
No,
That's
there's
hilarious,
not.
Jam.
The baddie team differs from game to game. I mean, the Team Rocket's only in the sort of early ones. Later on, you've got Team Magma.
I can't help you.
Team. There's like a Aqua team. There's. Oh god,
Luke's vast Pokemon knowledge on display.
Look, the bad guys
Getting
are
old.
kind of something you don't care too much about because once you beat the subplot where they're sort of trying to take over the world or enact some sort of diabolical plan, what you really care about is beating the Elite Four and winning the game. So it's pretty consistent. There's other features that sort of prop up in a lot of the Pokemon games. Like there's almost always a Snorlax asleep somewhere that's blocking your route, and you have to get a flute to wake him up or something. That's in just about every single Pokemon game. There's usually a a section where you have to get like a move called cut to knock down a tree and advance across the map somewhere. There's like trees blocking your path. There's usually a bit where rocks are blocking your path and you have to get Pokemon to smash them apart. There's very similar sort of things like that. There's fast travel in a lot of the games as well, where you can actually teach one of your Pokemon a move that allows you to teleport or fly around the game world, and it sort of cuts down your travel time quite a bit. A lot of consistency.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as the core game mechanics go, Ollie mentioned the big ones. So collecting, and we said before that the first game had 150 Pokemon, or technically 151, because there was one added which was an event exclusive. And I can't remember if that was Mew or Mewtwo. It was one of the two of those.
Mewtwo and Mew were in the 151.
Yep. There you go. So, and the way that worked is basically at the time when that was released, the 151st Pokemon you couldn't actually get in the games. You had to actually get it externally by attending an event. And you got either by wireless or wired transmission or entering a code into your game, it unlocked it, and then you could actually play with it. So, and that's something that's existed from that point onwards. So, the Pokemon Company have actually got a promotion on at the moment because there's a big anniversary for Pokemon happening this year, where every single month they've got a free legendary giveaway in the current generation games, and that giveaway is either from visiting a participating store, so that would be like an EB Games or something like that for us, or it's available by a wireless download from the internet, and you have to put in a code and then you get that legendary. So that's how a lot of those ones work. There's different exclusives that have been available in different regions. Some of them were only available in Japan, some of them only in America, some of them only in the UK, yada yada. So very highly sought after, a lot of those ones. The other thing as well, which Jamie mentioned before, is there is such a thing in the game called shinies. So shinies are basically a Pokemon that is rare as duck's nuts. They are like one in every several thousand that you capture out in the wild of a particular Pokemon is what's called a shiny, which is basically a sparkly Pokemon that has an alternate color scheme. They are really hard to come by. So if you happen to find a shiny, when you're talking about the online trading market for Pokemon, and there is a market for it, people sort of, trade highly sought after Pokemon for other highly sought after ones. Getting shinies is tough, and they are worth a lot when it comes to trades. So,
and you trade via like Street Pass type dealio?
Well, back in the early days, trading was done via link cable. So you actually had to put a physical cable into your machine and connect it up to someone else's.
I remember those.
Yeah. But these days, internet and online trading is a thing. So and so is battling and storage too. So there's a thing now called the Pokemon Bank, which you can actually unlock and allows you to store your Pokemon between games in like
Surely it's called the
bank.
Pokebank, not the Pokemon Bank.
I think it's actually Pokemon Bank.
Oh, missed an opportunity. So lame. Should be Pokebank.
Yeah, it's good though. But one of the things that has allowed you to do is just about every iteration of the game since about Generation 2 or 3 onwards, you've actually been able to carry your Pokemon from the games through to the next generation of the game. So believe it or not, in my current copy of Omega Ruby, I actually have Pokemon in that game that I've carried over from games as early as the Game Boy Advance titles of Fire Red and Leaf Green. So I've actually brought them all the way through. Yeah. It's amazing. And like when you're actually trying to fill out your collection and get some of the really hard to find ones, sometimes the only way to get certain Pokemon is from previous games. You actually can't get them in the current ones. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So
it's like a dick move.
So if I pick this up, you're gonna like hold me to task if I want to trade something rare.
Well, you can trade online.
Something that's not available. Yeah.
So you'll tend to find ones that you're missing online. Each game not only has sort of the Pokemon from its individual region in it, but they usually have a selection of ones from the previous games too. It's just never the complete lot. If you usually have about 150 that are native to whatever region the game is set in, you'll usually have about another 150 or so of mixed ones from all the previous games that are available for you to capture in that title also. So there you go. That's why, for example, like Pikachu is always in every game. So, he's kind of like poster child of the Pokemon franchise. It'd be weird to not have him in a game, but he obviously doesn't belong to every single region. He's kind of, part of the default set, so he pops up in just about every title. So, but the 3 starter Pokemon that you get every time are usually sort of exclusive to that edition, and you don't tend to find them in a lot of the other titles. So they're kind of hard to get. But yeah, and the legendaries as well. Usually the legendaries are locked into one or two of the different generational titles, and you can't get the previous legendaries unless you trade them or carry them over from your old games, which makes them pretty hard to get. So, but yeah, it's really good. I love it. It's kind of like... I like to think of it as almost like the Mass Effect. So, when you play the Mass Effect games and you can actually carry your save game files through to the subsequent titles in the Mass Effect trilogy, and it actually has like a significant difference in how you play the game. It's similar for Pokemon in a way, because you're carrying through some of your older Pokemon that you've trained up and, bred or gotten them up to high levels, so they're really, really good in the battles. Being able to bring that through is actually a really handy thing to do, because, some of the ones that you love battling with that are really, really good, you can continue to use. So it's awesome.
I have to say, I'm going to draw some parallels here just because I've had a little sort of brain spark while you've been talking. I was trying to figure out, because I'm not really a collectibles and games person like Jam is, and I have this big draw to play Pokemon ever since we've been talking about, you can collect them and the shinies and those types of things. And I was trying to figure out why it was this game and nothing else. It's not because it's cute. It's because it's a similar mechanic to we were talking about Darkest Dungeon, where you have, a situation you're going to go into and you sort of assemble your team and you create them in a way that, works for you. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think it's got that same draw for me in Pokemon, in that I can sort of train my Pokemon and go into a gym battle or a league battle with a team that I've sort of designed, based on my own preferences.
Yep. And that's exactly how it works. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a cartoony Japan anime version of Darkest Dungeon without people going insane.
Yeah.
I'm a difference, really.
Oh, you'll go insane.
Yeah, a difference.
Look, in terms of the different aspects of the different Pokemon you might want to collect, I'll give you a very quick overview, and I will keep this brief because otherwise we'll go really late tonight.
Yeah, you'll be for a while.
Yeah.
So, the general makeup of a Pokemon, you might think that, hey, you have a Pokemon, it has like a particular stage of its evolution, and it's got a few basic sort of stats and moves. There is a lot more to it than that. So, the general makeup of a Pokemon will generally have sort of set what we call individual values, which have an influence on how fast the Pokemon is, how strong its basic attacks are, how strong its special attacks are, how strong its basic attack defense is, its special attack defense, how many health points it has. All of that stuff is actually determined by hidden values that the Pokemon has at birth or when it's caught out in the wild. And you actually don't know what those values are unless you use various different ways to discover what they are in the game. There's usually like a character you can interact with that gives you a bit of an idea if they inspect your Pokemon as to where they sit in those different areas. But you never actually get the raw stats. Like, you have to kind of interpret information that you get. So it can be kind of hard to determine what it is. But some of the top Pokemon trainers and breeders actually spend a lot of time breeding their Pokemon to have maximum values in those hidden areas through sort of trial and error researching. Yep. Yeah. So not only are they breeding Pokemon to get the right sort of gender, well, that gender's another thing. Like, Pokemon actually do have genders in most of the games. But, they're trying to get the right moveset on them. They're trying to get the best hidden values on them, sort of how strong they're going to become. It's like their potential almost. And then, of course, they train them up. So Pokemon also have natures. So there's a bunch of different natures. So they could be, getting bonuses in different areas depending on how they evolve based on what their nature is. So they
can be mean?
Yeah. You can have Pokemon that are... shy, or I'll have to find a list of natures.
Aggressive, defensive, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Can I just build a team of like defensive shy Pokemon? See how well I go.
Team awkwardness.
Turtle up, guys.
Team social anxiety, go.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them. Just to give you an idea, you've got hardy, you've got lonely, you've got brave, you've got adamant, you've got naughty, you've got bold, you've got docile, you've got relaxed, impish, lax, timid, hasty, serious, jolly, naive, modest, mild, quiet, bashful,
business Pokemon,
rash, calm, gentle, sassy, careful, quirky.
Sassy.
There's actually sassy.
Pokemon with sass.
Team sass.
Yep.
Oh, I love it.
So sassy Pokemon get a bonus to their special defense. They get a disadvantage to their speed. and there's different sort of things that they interact with better in terms of items that they can use and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
That is amazing.
It's
Pikachu
incredible.
used sass. It was very effective.
Oh, sassy Pikachu. Sassy.
Exactly.
I want to play these games so badly right now. I have an overwhelming urge to buy a 3DS immediately.
Well, let's talk about the most important part of just about every Pokemon in the game. All of the different Pokemon breeds have different types. So you've probably seen a bit of this in Pokemon GO. So you've got, normal Pokemon, you've got fire Pokemon, you've got water Pokemon, all that sort of thing. So obviously we all know
Psychic.
Pikachu's an electric type. Yep. We also have grass, ice, fight, poison, ground, flying, psychic, bug, rock, ghost, dragon, dark, steel, fairy. There's a whole bunch.
What's a fairy
And
type Pokemon?
breathe.
That sounds adorable.
Like Clefairy, for example.
Oh, of
Is
course, because
fairy
it's got
type.
fairy in the
Classic.
name. Good job, Imogen.
I
Yeah.
think Jigglypuff is fairy type as well. So
I
Well, it's
want to say
pink.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to say yes.
Fairy is an interesting one because Fairy is actually a type that was added in the recent generations. It actually didn't exist in the original games. It was sort of retroactively added later. So a bunch of the Pokemon that are now Fairy type that existed in the game a while ago actually used to be normal type, and they've sort of been reclassified, if you like. Fun fact, Fairy type Pokemon, really good against dragons. They smash the crap out of them. So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh.
That's one
There
of
is
the...
a depth to these games, I have to say, that I was not anticipating. I've seen lots of people who I follow on Twitter are very adamant about the collecting of Pokemon, but I didn't realize that there was so much depth to how you can breed them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I definitely am on board with like sassy Pokemon. Down.
Okay, so in Pokemon
Sold
Go,
on the
my
sass.
Jigglypuff is normal/fairy type.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yep. Pokemon can have dual types as well. And the reason why the types matter is because different types have different advantages or disadvantages when it comes to the battles. And all of the moves that you use actually have a type associated with them as well. So say, for example, if you have a grass Pokemon that's getting hit by a fire type attack, the fire type attack will do double damage to the grass Pokemon. So
Yeah, they have like vulnerabilities.
yeah, exactly. And like
And
water
resistances.
hurts fire, for example. There's a lot of different, combos.
Water hurts fire.
Yeah.
Fire bad.
If you've got a dual type Pokemon, that might actually help or hinder them depending on what they're getting hit by. So, for example, you know that fire is extremely strong against grass types and ice type Pokemon, which, as you'd imagine. If you've got a Pokemon that is combined grass and ice type and it gets hit by fire, it takes 4 times the damage instead of 2 times the damage.
Oh,
Yeah.
so smart.
Yeah, so attacks are generally only one type, but Pokemon themselves can be dual type depending on what they are, and there's a lot of different combinations. So, yeah, some of the toughest ones you'll find will be like Ghost type or Steel type can be quite hardy to a lot of the different attack categories as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
That's
is cool.
interesting. Do you think that Pokemon Go and the popularity of it has sparked an increase in the Nintendo DS version of the game?
I'm going to be really curious to see the sales figures for Sun and Moon later in the year because I think you're probably right. I think it's going to
I
explode.
think even now, not just people who've maybe previously played previous versions of the game, but perhaps people who are like, what is this Pokemon thing? And they're spending more time looking into types and everything, and then they see that there's this more in-depth version of the game that they could be playing.
Possibly.
Is Pokemon Go, is it a marketing tool? Like
Well-
we mentioned that last week, is it, it's free. You can spend, there is microtransactions in it, but is it a marketing tool for the other games? Are they trying to boost people back to a Nintendo system, whether it be a DS or otherwise?
I don't know if that's the intent, but I think that's what's going to happen regardless.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
at worst, yes. At absolute worst, yes it is.
At worst, yes.
Yeah. Well, the
At worst, they're already making about $1 million a day.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably double that.
And that's
I'd say.
three,
Way,
three
way more.
countries.
Yeah.
3 countries.
Yeah, it's nuts. I can't even describe how kind of cool I think all of this is and the potential that it's got if they start building out some more of these mechanics. I mean, I think a lot of them in the game currently in Pokemon Go are undiscovered too. Like a lot of people have been saying how simplified the battle system is. What they don't realize is if you actually look at all the moves that you've got in Pokemon Go, they actually do have all those different sort of elemental types associated with them, and they actually do correspond to the things that you're fighting in the gyms. So if you hit...
Yeah, I have to say when I'm in the gym though, like I'm just tapping on the thing. Like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it doesn't seem to have any sort of rhyme or reason.
There is a bit more to it than that. So all of the Pokemon in Pokemon Go have 2 sort of move types. In regular Pokemon generation games, they have 4, and you can choose between those different moves during battles, depending on who you're fighting against. You've got a bit of a range. And ideally, what you want to do when you're building your teams is you want to have Pokemon that have moves that cover a wide range of different types. So if you've got a grass Pokemon and it's using grass attacks, the effectiveness of it is increased because it kind of doubles down on your type. But likewise, you actually want to have stuff that's good against things that normally you'd be vulnerable to. So, grass Pokemon are vulnerable to fire type Pokemon. So you actually probably want to have an attack that does extra damage to fire types. So you might want to have a grass Pokemon with a water attack, for instance. So you've actually got a defense against that kind of thing. And the same thing will be true in Pokemon Go. Like, you've only got 2 moves to deal with, but if you look at the types of your moves and what they're good against and what they're vulnerable against, you can spread yourself out a bit more cleverly. Yeah.
The game tends to, if you're battling a particular Pokemon as well, it does tend to recommend something, and it's not always your most powerful one. So I do feel like I thought that was maybe, that type of Pokemon stronger against the type that I'm trying to fight or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So it seems like it was doing that. But I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to use the different attacks when I do the Poke Battles. It's Pokemon Go for me isn't about holding gyms, it's about collecting Pokemon. So
which is fine.
I've never really invested the time into the gym.
It's a big part of the strategy. I will give you one tip though. If you want an attack type that's really good against most of the stuff you'll face at the moment, flying Pokemon are really popular in Pokemon Go because some of the easy to find ones.
Pidgeotto
and Zubats are really common. So if you want something that's good against all of those, get something with electric attacks. That smashes them. So if you can evolve a Eevee into a Jolteon, that's a really good start.
Yeah, I just got one of those.
Can we...
Yep. Save those for your gym battles against the flying ones. They're really good.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
See, you're just like a sage Pokemon. You are like our Pokemon gym leader, Luke.
I'm far from an expert on most of this stuff. There are people that know a lot more than I do, that's for sure. Yeah.
But we don't know those
crazy.
people.
I know a few of those people. Oh man, as far as the basic games go, we haven't even touched the surface of most of this stuff. I mean, you've got items to deal with as well. You can actually teach your Pokemon moves. There's actually farming in the games, believe it or not. You can actually farm berries, and you can give the berries to your Pokemon to heal them or give them different stat bonuses. There's different effects in the battles as well. So, you can send Pokemon to sleep, you can poison them, you can set them on fire, all that sort of stuff. It's just nuts. So much. So
I think we found another thing that Luke can talk more about than Hearthstone, guys. What do you reckon?
No.
Yeah.
Because he won't get 3 accounts for Pokemon Go.
No.
Oh, he might.
I think he might.
No,
Depends
I
on the
will not.
trading rules.
I will
Oh,
not.
of course.
There is no way. I'll be content with owning multiple copies of all of the
You
other
heard it
games.
here, people. He said there is no way.
Nah, no way. Not Pokemon
Okay.
Go.
On
All right.
record.
On
Next week.
record.
With the game in its current
Next
state,
week with the
there
new
is
release.
no way.
No asterisks allowed.
Oh, nice. No, but honestly, if you guys are interested in the mainline games later in the year, we'll have to have a more detailed conversation about some of the cool stuff to look forward to. But I'm really excited for Sun and Moon. I think they're going to be great.
I think I might have to pick up a DS, guys.
Yup. Good for packs. Yep. All right. Well, anyway, I think we'll probably wrap up the topic there. Anyone got any other individual thoughts on Pokemon? Sort of your favourite aspects, what you like about it, what you don't, sort of stuff. It's
I like that it doesn't consume my life anymore. That's good.
Just everybody else's.
Yeah, look, I'm okay with that.
yeah. Yep. It's funny.
So-
like a lot of people write it off as
that
being.
damning silence after that statement. Everyone's like,
Sorry, I was counting Pokemon, so I
See my
final,
point?
yeah.
What's the count at, Imogen? What's the
thank you
count
for
at?
making my point.
My final count is 29 Pokemon, but one of those was a Magikarp, which I'm pretty happy with because I'm collecting those
Nice.
rather elitely. So yeah, 29 Pokemon over a recording. Actually 28 because one of those was a very depressing egg that hatched, which was a Doduo.
Yeah.
Which is not fun to walk 5 kilometers and get a Doduo. So there you go.
No.
Well, my total is
Pokemoners.
0.
Oh, weird. You haven't found any during the episode?
No, there's
wrong with
nothing
you?
around my house. I am sad.
Interesting.
I need to move. Okay, I'm going to sell my house and I'm going to get an apartment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Pokemon.
to a new estate area because that'll, like, Google Maps will think it's like grassland and like very remote.
Correct.
I imagine there'd be
No,
tons around my place.
It's based on mobile traffic, so no, it's kind of the opposite.
You just got to move closer to a gym, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
that'd
Something
be
something
neat.
from... why don't you just go and live with Imogen for a while? That's probably going to solve your problems.
Hey, buddy!
Yeah,
There you
come
go.
hang out with
I'm
me for a
moving
bit.
in.
Still
Yeah, I was
sleep over.
thinking-
You're done.
I was going to say, I'm happy. I took a photo earlier of like 2 lure points and the 2 gyms that are near my house. And I'm like, well, I'll share it so everyone understands where I've been catching Pokemon. And I'm like, no, because then people will know where I live.
Yeah,
There are some
people.
distinctive road patterns near my house. It would be very easy to figure out where I live. So, no.
Oh, just post a shot of Kings Park. Those were some
No.
pretty cool
Yeah.
screen caps. Oh my god, they were busy.
Nice. It's funny, like a lot of people write these games off and say they're kids' games and they're simple, they're not complex enough. They could not be further from the truth. There is so much to learn about Pokemon games. The level
This
of
is
depth
just-
is insane.
This has brought out a real evil side of you, Luke. Your excitement today of, assimilate everybody into the nerd world has taken me aback a
He's
little
become
bit.
a Borg.
I want to be the
has,
best,
yeah.
like no one ever was.
Oh, there you go. Poker joke.
Oh, why did you say it like that?
I'm done.
I think I am as well.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, anyway, let's wrap the show up. We can go and purge ourselves by going and shooting things in Overwatch or something like that. How does that sound?
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
What I plan on doing.
Nice. All right. Well, if you want to get in touch and support Team Mystic or throw some vicious slander at us if you're one of the other teams, you can hit us up. mail@partyloaded.com. We're also on Facebook, of course, facebook.com/partyloaded. Find us on Twitter @partyloadedshow. And if you've got any cool shots from playing the game or any nostalgic memories when you played the original Pokemon titles back on Game Boy or something like that, drop us a line and let us know. It'd be really cool to sort of get some of those stories. And none of your Pokemon Go porn pics. There's been some dodgy stuff going around with people lying down and taking shots of Diglett on their groin
It
area.
was inevitable.
Yep,
Inevitable.
God damn it.
Because
Inevitable.
internet. Yeah.
exactly. Yep. Fun fact, actually. Fun Pokemon fact. In the Pokemon games, Diglett can actually breed with Whale Lord. There you go. It's a weird one. Yeah.
What?
Giant whale
There's
Pokemon.
a Pokemon
And-
called Whale Lord?
Yeah, it's a giant whale.
Well, no shit. If it wasn't,
Actually, that's small mouse.
Exactly. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, that's it. Let's wrap it up and go catch some more mons. And next week we'll talk about something slightly different.
yeah.
All right. Well, until then, see ya.
See you
Happy
guys.
hunting,
Bye.
friends.
Bye.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.